Life Stace Storytime Part 10. I want this one to not be about me, but to be about my little brother. I know there'll be children out there who have siblings that have passed away, and I know there'll be parents out there that might be wondering how them children are feeling at such a time when a child in the family has passed away through stillborn. I understand this is difficult and can be triggering, so I do apologise. However, I'm just going to relive how I felt being 11 years old and that news being told to me. So I remember I had literally just started secondary school. I was in year 7, only a week or so into the year. I was in IT and it was the last lesson of the day, and I'm going to say it was about 2:15. I got a note through my IT teacher saying I have to go to reception as an emergency because my nan and granddad will be picking me up, which was my mum's dad and his partner. I've gone to the reception there and my nan and granddad was there and they was looking really sad, and I got in the car and they said, your little brother's passed away. I was like, what? And they said, your mum's sadly lost a baby. We're going to the hospital now. So I sat in the back of the car like, I don't even know, a bit like stunned really with the news, you know. I'm kind of not really processing it at that time. Anyway, we got to the hospital and we've gone through to the ward and we've gone through the doors, and there was in like a side room, private room. And I've gone in and my mum's boyfriend had hold of the baby, and he said, do you want to come over here and hold him? And I walked round and I seen the baby there, and he did look like he was sleeping, like peacefully. But I was so scared to hold him, like, because I didn't understand how I was meant to feel or really what had happened, and I knew like he wasn't alive and breathing. And I'd been told that he had wrapped himself up in his cord and he had strangled himself, and my mum was 36 weeks, so he was stillborn before he was born. But I couldn't really make sense of everything. Again, I am only 11. I'm still processing a lot of things. I've literally just got stopped from seeing my foster parents. I was going through the grief of that. And now I just found out my brother had passed away. Anyway, I didn't hold him. And we come out of the hospital. My mum had to stay there for a couple of days. I was to stay at my nan and granddad's, but started being naughty. Well, they didn't want me on my Nintendo 64. So I kicked off a little bit, and I ended up having to go and stay with one of my mum's friends, who was actually a really lovely friend, and it was nice to stay there because her and her partner was like really nice with me. And then I went back home, and then all I remember is, I'm not sure the time frame on it, but I remember that I was told that the baby was going to be staying with us overnight before the day of the funeral. So the coffin gets dropped off at the house and my little brother is laid in the coffin, and they put him in the living room near the window. I remember my mum and a partner being in the kitchen, and I was really curious and was like really sad at this point because I'd kind of like hyped myself up that I'm going to have someone to play with, you know, and I just felt like everything around me I was losing, and I kind of blamed myself. I just thought there was something wrong with me, and everything I was near I was losing, you know, and my mum and a partner was in the kitchen cooking, and I took myself over to the coffin and I looked over. And I wanted to pick him up, but I felt like if I picked him up I weren't going to let him go. Anyway, next minute I heard someone was coming in from the kitchen, so I run and sat on the settee like I hadn't been near him. I really regret that. I wish I did hold him now, do you know? But I think I carry some sort of guilt, and I know it was not my fault, do you know? How could it be, do you know? But because so much was going on, but then the day after, it was the funeral, you know, and everyone came to the house, and it was quite overwhelming. And then we had his funeral, and then everyone went to like a pub after. You know, my mum didn't drink. Her partner and his brothers drunk a lot, and there was fighting and arguing after the funeral, which I didn't like. But then when we got home and I went and sat in my bedroom, and I was thinking, like, it's actually a lot to take in as a child, you know, like, because you kind of build this thing in your head that you're going to have, like, an addition to the family and someone that you can play with and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, like, there's nothing, and everything goes a little bit silent, you know, because understandably, you know, it's hard losing someone, and then losing a baby, like, that's extremely hard. And I know my mum went through a lot at that time. Like, she started to really, really struggle, but yeah, it's a hard one, innit? Because you always imagine what they would grow up to be and whatnot. He would have been like 26 now, you know, 25, 26, be 26 this year. So yeah, it would have been nice to have like a little brother to lean on and whatnot, but the good ones get taken, that's what I believe. But yeah, so RIP to my little brother, and my thoughts with anyone that has been in that situation, genuinely, because I've seen how much my mum struggled, you know, and as a sibling, you know, it's also hard, and within the family it was hard as well. I think it has a knock-on effect with everybody, so yeah, my thoughts go out to anyone who has been in that situation. But that is Life Stace Storytime Part 10, and Part 11 will be next.